A beautiful evening, as you see, clear skies and right around 70 degrees. What a difference for Team USA coming from Houston last week. And actually, Houston last week was pretty nice in terms of the conditions. Bill Seward, Brian Hightower with you. Glad you could join us for this Pacific Nations Cup showdown. And the United States, led by the captain, number 8, Todd Clever. Not much different between last time out.
Only a couple changes. Peter Dahl comes in at number 7, and then James Patterson to replace the injured Luke Hume on the left wing. Otherwise, what we saw last week against Ireland.
Blaine Scully making the squad at the 23. On the Tongan side, well, they come in off of a victory over Japan and a loss to Canada. And the skipper for this one, number 7, Nili Latu.
Keep your eyes on number 14, Viliami Iongi. Really an electric player. 4 tries in the Churchill Cup a couple of years ago, and then a great World Cup effort in 2011.
And those 4 tries in the Churchill Cup, if you remember, USA fans, was against the Americans, and he was shining that day, and he'd love to do it again tonight for Coach Mana Otai. Tonga, a 27-17 winner over Japan in the PNC opener, and then lost to Canada 36-27. In that contest, they lost Kurt Marapp because of a knee, a very dangerous and high-scoring performer for Tonga, and they also lost 3 players to suspension. Aholele, Pala'afainua, and Piatau. But ready to go. Tonga and the USA. The Pacific Nations Cup, the showdown between the USA and Tonga in Carson, California. For Tonga, getting the USA tonight, and then next up, Fiji at Tokyo on June the 23rd. The Eagles of the United States come in off a loss to Ireland last week by 3 points, losing their initial game in the PNC to Canada. And next up after this one will be a June 17th showdown against Fiji, and then 6 days later taking on the home squad, Japan.
Looking around at some of these crowd shots,
you'll
see a lot of red, a lot of Tongans in the greater LA area, California coast.
And the Eagles heading up the ramp to the pitch here in Carson.
Going to be a much different match tonight, I predict, Bill, from what we saw last week against Ireland. Ireland has so much structure in their defense. Their coach, Les Kiss, a defensive specialist, they really align themselves well. Didn't see any big United States line breaks last week. A few nice moves from the foot of some of the backs, but otherwise they were pretty much tackled in every phase of the game. I think there's going to be space to run on Tonga.
Yeah, the only ones that really stick out in my mind in terms of opening things up are 2 guys that aren't on the squad here tonight, and that is Samu Manoa and Luke Hume. Nili Latu, the captain for Tonga, bringing his squad over. And back in November, Tonga, a winner over the United States, also beat Scotland during that tour and a loss to Italy.
And ended up 3rd in their pool in the World Cup and qualify automatically for the 2015 games.
Speaking of World Cups, the Tonga took care of the United States in the 2007 World Cup, 25-15. Stanfill, Clever, Nguyen, Wiles, and Petrie on that squad. And Stanfill and Clever 0-3 lifetime against Tonga. Getting set for the national anthems here before they roll on the field. The United States will see if they encounter the same scrum problems they had against Ireland this week.
A lot of pressure again on the shoulders of Eric Fry and Sean Pittman.
Las Vegas Sevens tournament. At this time, we remember David Momo Moa, George Moa, Mylea Moa, and Rachel Fishiahi. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask you to remain standing for the Tongan National Anthem.
Excellent response for the Tonga anthem, and now for the United States. Messrs. Kelly and Guenya and Wiles there on the end. There's the captain of the American squad, Todd Clever, as the Americans coming over to halfway, and on the other side will be the Tongans and the Sipitao, and you are familiar with that, Brian.
Just a greeting. It's a challenge, really, to bring your best game, a tradition in the Pacific Islands.
Pumping it up on both sides, Tonga and the USA, and leading the way there was the captain, Nili Latu, the 31-year-old, made his debut for the Tongans against Japan in '06. Todd Clever, well, he's been with Team USA since '03 against Argentina. Pacific Nations Cup showdown, USA and Tonga. And just about ready to get underway. Chris Wiles, there you see the referee, Francisco Pastrana from Argentina, his 10th test. He was the referee last week in Houston The Irish USA match. I'm guessing, will have his hands full tonight as he checks his watch, hits the whistle, and Chris Wiles about to get us underway. And on the first possession, taken by Tonga outside their 22. Flung right side, a lot more open than we saw last week, and the chip forward. Back there to recover is Wiles. Coming back the other way and almost just an ankle tap away from really picking up some meters.
Great job by Wiles to keep the ball in play.
Pittman flat pass to Doyle, and Bryan hammered down inside.
Stay back.
Tongans play such a physical brand of rugby. First tackle from Josh Afu, the number 4 for Tonga. Hands in the ruck there, though, by number 3. That's Ty Vea. It'll be a penalty for the United States.
That one? Yeah, I think so. Number 8, hands.
This may be within Wiles' range.
Yeah, the hands on Polakaho. And so Wiles looking toward touch. Left boot. Nails it just about outside the 22. Little cool, little breeze. Maybe Wiles goes at it if they're just inside halfway.
Well, just the way Wiles handled that first kick from the Tongans is kind of a reflection, hopefully, of things to come. Instead of kicking it, he runs it, has a go.
Stanfield was up high on that one, and Lestrange runs into Clever.
Number 9
Petrie,
outside.
the U.S. recycling it out. Lavala goes forward, and the tackle by Josh Afu, number 4. Biller. Inside, Fry across him. Presented to the U.S. Lestrange. Petrie with the out to Doyle, and into touch they go.
Number 9 upside.
Offsides, though.
Number 9 upside.
On the Tongan scrum half.
Tomasi Paulo.
This will be, should be a 3-point start to the Eagles' day. Chris Wiles well within his range, right in front of the posts.
Shot.
The tee coming out, and Wiles just a little to the left of the center of the field.
Wiles, such a great player, plays for the Saracens in the Premiership over in England.
He had all the points last week against Ireland on 4 penalty goals.
Really struck the ball well. Really versatile player. Wiles can play fullback. That's where you want him. He's a great general in the back 3 there, but he also lines up often for the Saracens at wing. He could play center.
And he busts the scoring in this one. A 3-0 USA lead.
Always good to get on the board first. We've seen Tonga really kind of tickling that offside line in the scrum, or sorry, in the ruck. Taking some chances. That can come back to bite you, as it just did.
On the restart, up high is Doyle. Collared by Lokatui. The box kick by Petrie. Coming across, Cahill. Follow. Picking up nice yardage, finds Topole. Ale Topole. As Moa spins it out of there, and Taione, the hooker, rumbling forward for some yardage.
Advantage.
Flat pass to
Advantage
Topole.
Offsides against the United States. Tongans get a free one here.
Right side is Piakala. The ball pops out, and Latu, the captain, with it, and they'll bring it back off the advantage. Does Francisco Pastrana, the ref.
Take the shot.
So the tee coming out for Tonga and looking to get even at 3 if they can convert on this one. Just about 5 minutes in.
Number 9. No. Enough.
Viliame Hakalo, the fullback, letting it nestle on top of the tee. Hakalo with a hat trick against the Cook Islands in 06. Those are his international tries, and looking to add 3 points to his career numbers here. And does so.
Well, I just talked about how Tonga was tickling the offside line in the breakdown, and U.S. doing the same thing. Gets them into a little bit of trouble.
So noting on the jerseys here that Tomasi Palu wearing the 10 for Tonga. Nathaniel Amal, the 9. Wiles on the restart. And Moa. Hey, busting through the captain, Latu. And Latu with some support. Nice tackle made by Chris Wiles. Tonga on the attack. Got numbers to the outside. They can be reached. Helu, Viliame runs into Patterson. Back inside, and Kaho. Kamoa. Iongi. Held up inside the 5 meters. The teams reorganize. Lou Stanfill coming across for a tackle for the U.S. Charging hard there is Hale Tipole, the number 6 for Tonga.
Use it! Stay back.
Tonga told to use it, and they do toward the center of the field. Scott Lavala racing across to help in on that one.
Advantage releasing.
An advantage for Tonga on not releasing on the tackle. Inside on the cross, and repelled nicely by the U.S. and a couple of nice tackles by Patterson so far in this sequence.
Fry's got him held up. Ref still playing advantage. He'll bring it back to the 5-meter line with the penalty.
Well, nice job on the U.S. other than the penalty to at least keep it stretched out there and move Tonga back, but now the call, and looks like they're going to give it a boot.
Here's the mark. On the left.
Well, first
Actually,
scrum,
looks like they're going to be a scrum.
Yeah,
huh?
we'll see. They've got a penalty, and this is one of the options from the penalty is to choose a scrum, and I think Tonga right now testing the mettle of Fry and Pittman. Obviously, they think this is a place where they have the advantage over the Americans.
Let's see what happens. The first scrum down.
Crouch!
An early push by Tonga gets the U.S. out of some trouble. Pastrana last week, the Americans were complaining that he just took so long to engage this scrum that his cadence was prolonged, and you get a front row in a crouched position like Tonga just was, and at some point you're coiled up like a spring and you just got to go forward. They did it before Pastrana's call, and the U.S. the beneficiary.
Another look at the scrum and see if you can find the red jerseys a bit early in this one. Yep. So Wiles found touch with the kick. The line out here on the near side. Taione throws in off the hands, rolls around, kicked forward by the U.S. Clever on the chase. Heading back is Iongi. Viliami. The offload to Fraser Anderson. Inside halfway is Wiles, but can't do the pirouette on the touchline.
A nice attempt by Wiles to keep that ball in play. Since he stepped on the line when he caught the ball, it's a line out to the United States.
Come on.
And so setting up.
And the numbers here, you got a short line out. Only 4 men participate in the line out. You got some forwards in the back line right now.
Off the foot into the corner and
Stay.
booted in to touch from the Tongans. And so the U.S. with a line out here on the near side. Viliami Iongi with the honors of hitting that one into touch. Had a try against Canada. He's the one we talked about in the pregame.
And again, the U.S. has opted to go short numbers in the line out. They've got Todd Clever in the back line right now.
Lavala to Petrie. Spun the left side. Clever. Plunging forward. Petrie spins it out. Flat pass. Going to Kelly. So far with Biller crawling forward. U.S. able to get it out of there in decent shape. Petrie again. Lestrange comes right back at him and taken down.
The U.S. trying to eat up some of those Tongan resources on the short side there so that they can get an overlap. Knock forward, though, goes in the hands of a Tongan player.
Yeah, surprise to Lou Stanfill, and coming back the other way, Hale Tupole with the interception. Viliami Elu being held up by the U.S. Nicely done by Peter Dahl.
Number 1 from the side. Number 1 from the side.
Pittman called there from entering the ruck from the side.
Side entry.
Sean heads back, had a yellow card against Tonga back in 2011 in the Churchill Cup.
It was a maul, and number 1 came from the other side. Yes, of course. Yeah, I call it.
Third consecutive match, Francisco Pastrana of Argentina has had the whistle for the U.S.
You can ask the U.S. players. They'll be glad when this third match is over with Pastrana. They really have not enjoyed their experience with the Argentinian referee. That's an understatement.
Got a man down on the far side for Tonga. Being helped back up is the hooker, Elvis Taioni. Elvis ready just in time for the lineout. Come throw some darts.
We'll see if the U.S. opts to try to defend this or just stays on the ground.
Stay there.
Sometimes you risk, when you lift a pod this close to your own goal line, you risk being victim to the rolling maul. They do go up and challenge it.
Afu with it, number 4, and then Latu, the captain, number 7, down there on the ground. Out of that ruck it comes.
Some good go forward there by the Tongan forwards.
Stringing a couple together here, trying the right side is Palu.
Penalty advantage. Biller was offsides according to the referee. Pastrana continues to play the advantage in Perpignan in France. When you catch the ball at pace there, coming up against a flat defense, and you only got a few meters before the line, it's a great play and it's hard to stop.
Hakalo nails it through, and Tonga has a 10-3 advantage. Another look at the score by Sione Piakala. Had a try against the USA in the fall. Picked up a yellow card last week against Canada. But has his squad up 10-3 on the U.S. 16 minutes to go in the first half. Wiles on the restart. Setting up high to Pole. Brings it down on the other side of the 22. Spun out of there by Palu. Iangi.
Push back. Use it.
Moa with the box, and that doesn't go very far, but it's kept by Tonga. Spun closer this side, Iangi. Outside, a looping pass to Kaho, picked up by Lavala. And knocked down. And a whistle.
The first knock on was by Tonga, so it'll be a scrum to the United States, and the first put in that the U.S. has.
Number 1. When I call the whistle, stop it.
And you heard Francisco Pastrana with Kamasakalia, who's into the contest really because Eddie Ahalili is on a 3-week suspension from his effort in the match against Canada. Another look in that.
1. It's okay. Whistle.
I'm
enough.
sure Brian Doyle doesn't feel good with the ball going down, and then to get spun around like that, even less so.
Closer.
Front row of
okay.
Sakalia, Taione, and Vea against Pittman, Biller, and Fry.
Well, there's only 2 players that Tonga brought from the island of Tonga, and that's Sakalia at prop and the fullback, Viliami Hakalo. Everyone else on this squad plays rugby overseas somewhere, whether it's Europe or down in the southern hemisphere.
And busted through is Lestrange. Lestrange with Suniula in his wake. And the United States with a penalty there. Whistled against Paula
Playing on the ground.
Making the play on the ball while on the ground there, and so might see the tee for Chris Wiles. Pointing to the post as the ref, and that's the case.
This should be within Wiles' automatic range here.
Same stuff to them. Under pressure, you're having several alternatives. Okay, please be sure. Yeah, have a chat, please. Thank you.
Referees talk to both sides now. When a team is under pressure and commits a penalty to prevent a try, you're going to end up seeing the cards start coming out. 5 penalties against the U.S. so far. And sometimes what the ref does is penalize teams often and early to try to clean up the game and really put your own authoritative stamp down, and maybe that's what Pastrana's doing.
Looking to set his table, which seems a little more orderly than last week at this moment. Wiles nails that one with 20 minutes to go in the first half and a 10-6 Tonga advantage. He had 4 penalty goals last week.
Great break by Lestrange before, and then a support line.
You played.
Didn't look like it went 10, but it took the old bounce, hop, skip, and a jump, and away it goes.
Yeah, it hit Lavala's knee, and so therefore it had to be played.
Wiles.
Great kick by Wiles.
Nicely done for territory there.
Beautiful kick by Wiles, because he had to do a double take with the ball. Someone was in his line, and he had to actually adjust, kind of a micro adjustment before he kicked it deep over the head of the right wing, and nice gain of territory for the U.S.
Naturally left-footed is Chris, but we've seen him go to that right side.
Open the gap. Gap, please, gap. One.
At times. 10-6, Tonga the lead. The line out. Elvis Taione up high. Grabbed by Afu. And the maul begins. Cradling it in there is Lua Lokatui, number 5. Out it comes. Into the open, and the U.S. swarming on that one. Doyle leading the charge through there.
Off feet, and then you go for the ball.
Off the feet and going
If
for
you
the
go off
ball,
feet, you must
says
stand up and
Francisco
get back.
Pastrana.
Well, U.S.
Doesn't
shooting itself in the foot there. Doyle was on the ground, and then it's so tempting. The ball's on the ground, and it's right there, and you really want it. Sometimes you just got to back off.
Not into touch, and coming back is the U.S. Wiles showing the ball, going with the ball, and being held up by Tonga. Nicely done by Piokala, number 12, and number 4, Josh Afu. A little deeper in the pocket. Lavala goes up for that one, but it bounces into the hands of Hakalo and knocked on.
Looked like Andrew Suniula knocked that ball on in the air. That was the first knock on we saw. Scrum to Tonga. Again, haven't had a lot of scrums, and if you're the United States, that's a good thing.
When I give you the mark, stay, okay? Thank you. Come closer, yeah, stay there.
Suniula, what a
Stay there.
warrior.
Give me a comparison. I mean, a week ago, you're taking on that Irish scrum, and I know Kean Healy's not there, but they were pretty decent.
Well, we really haven't seen a full scrum so far. First one ended in a penalty.
Touch! Set!
Looks nice and stable.
Yep, on the square.
And the U.S. gets a call, a penalty in the scrum.
Number 3.
And you can tell
Pulling down number 3.
just the way the U.S. is reacting to a penalty against the other scrum, how rare it is and how welcome it is.
The whistle on Ty Vea, number 3, on that far side going down. And Wiles booms it downfield. Is he inside the 22? Just barely. So a line out for the U.S.
You are inside, okay? Red, please.
playing on the Tonga 22. Biller.
And again, 2 loose forwards in the back line for the United States. Dahl is out there, and so is Clever.
Grab by Stanfill. Petrie to Lestrange to Clever yet again. Double team, but spins it up high, flips it to Petrie. Come back the other way. And Tonga with the knock on.
Fortuitous event for the United States. Petrie kind of lays down a grubber kick, a hard one, hard to handle for that
Ryan,
Tongan backline player.
can you work his binding? His binding, please.
Slowing down here a little.
So you wonder, now they've gone to Clever twice off the ball off the top of a line out, and you wonder if they set him out there again, will they start to use him as a decoy,
Right.
if that's what they're setting him up for.
Crouch! Touch! Set!
Great scrum by the United States.
Very well done, clearing that one out of there. Lestrange off the hands, and Nguyen kicks it right outside, and not being able to grab it. But yeah, I didn't hear a whistle, so still in play. And Nguyen needs some support and gets it in the form of Peter Dahl and others. And now a whistle and a stoppage of time and play.
Pastrana gonna have a talk with the
Now have an
captain.
official warning, okay? Then, yeah, the next time you're slowing down the game this way, you will get a civilian. Both. You're slowing down the game, okay? Have a chat. Yeah.
So Pastrana tells Latu the next time one of his players slows down the game in that breakdown area, he's gonna pull a yellow card out of his pocket and give him a 10-minute rest.
A good look at Holly Tipole. 6'4", 225, and a Rugby World Cup 07 veteran.
Yeah, he's the old man, 34 years old. So here's the breakdown area. Zian Nguyen.
There's Tipole in there, just
Now that's in from the side there. on number 13, it looked like. Off his feet, in from the side. Whole lot going on.
So Wiles with the chance to pull the U.S. within a point. Don't know if that's got it. That's off the mark and grabbed in goal by Hakalo. And now he presses it down and they'll come to a 22 dropout. Tomasi Palu at the 10 spot for Tonga tonight, and Tani Alamoa the 9. Into touch.
Lavala can't come down with it.
You have the option. Line out. Okay, you check the line out. The scrum line out. They take the line out.
Well, you know, Tonga has an option here between a scrum and a line out. They've opted for the line out, and if the scrum was going any better for them, they would have chosen the scrum. It's an indication of them respecting the United States scrum.
Taioni up high, over to Pole, batted back towards Tonga. Eongi pulled inside the 22. The U.S. with the maul call there.
Use it once.
Looks like the U.S. comes up with it.
Yeah, Pittman stole it.
Suniula spins outside. Kelly.
Great job by Patterson to keep the ball alive.
Go.
Now coming back, Stanfill charging forward. Stanfill off to Doyle. Couple of big men moving it up for the U.S. The countering as Moa comes across. Lestrange stepping off the right foot. Petrie jumping to Suniula. Andrew.
Great job by Suniula to create space where there wasn't any.
Off the foot of Lestrange, in goal. And pressed down by Helu. So he covers it. They'll come back out and hustling too.
I'm not sure I like the option. Obviously, you know, hindsight's 20/20, but I like keeping the ball in hand there, working through a few phases.
Stay behind, please.
You take another look at Petrie. Lestrange off the boot.
Well, and you got the wrong personnel out there. You got Brian Doyle and you got Pete Dahl on the corner. That's not where you want to do the chip and chase game.
Moa on
Backwards.
the kick. A knock on by Tonga and the scrum to the U.S.
Push him.
Things going dramatically better for the United States in the scrum tonight compared to last week.
Well, that last one where they really got clearance over the ball. I mean, you didn't see anything close to that a week ago.
Sorry,
You want to get thrown off, look at our clock on the screen with 29, 16, 17. And then the game clock up there, which counts the other way, which has 10 plus minutes to go.
I'm right, please. Binding.
Referee Pastrana sets him up.
Touch. Set.
The U.S. once again with a pretty good shove on that one.
Shut up.
Off the cut inside is Kelly. It turned to Clever, and Todd Clever.
Great dish by Kelly to Clever on the inside.
High tackle, the call by Pastrana. As Brian Doyle down, and it looked like the captain, number 7, Nili Latu.
It's hard to do a high tackle on someone who's 6'7", but
Had a warning before.
and he's getting sent.
I can tell you, number 9 to be in silence.
Latu off the field for 10.
Not only is that a big loss just because it's a number, it's 15 on 14, but he's your captain too.
Thank you.
You could tell Nili when he got up with the hands almost kind of knew something was wrong. And so for the next 10 minutes, essentially the rest of the first half will be 15 on 14, the man advantage for the United States. And Nili Latu.
Well, Tonga's used to playing with less than 15 players. At one point in their game against Canada last week, they were down to 12 on the field. When they got 13 back, they ended up scoring 3 consecutive tries against Canada. So Tonga a man down or even 2 men down can be dangerous. They get unpredictable, they get desperate, and sometimes good things happen for them. If you're the United States right now with a man advantage, you need to press the tempo, work through phases, get quick ball, and try to penetrate the defense of Tonga when they're a man down.
Wiles looking for his 3rd penalty goal of the contest. I'm going to say got it.
That's an important score.
Is it okay?
Bring the United States within 1 point.
Are you okay? What's my name? One name, what's wrong?
Not only 1 point, but now it's 1 point, and it's 15 on 14. The U.S. favored.
Who's the captain now? Yeah.
On the restart. Moa kicks to the corner. Lavala.
Bring it back.
Lavala playing a lot of minutes for Stade Francais over in the French top league.
Up high, Stanfill comes up with it after it ricochets off. And now the U.S. with Lestrange, the step, a gap. Tripped up on the ankle tap. Biller outside. Patterson just across halfway. And Biller on the bounce to Petry. Mike squirrels forward.
That's
and the turnover to Tonga.
Unfortunate there. U.S. late getting numbers to Petry.
The ball busted out of the hands of Akalo.
Referee still playing advantage.
Coming back the other way. Nguenya. Z ramping it up and a pass over the head of Lavala.
Z got excited. You can see the little smirk. He knows it. But sometimes the right option is just to eat it. You run sideways like that, and sometimes you take more players out of play.
Are you saying let the ball do the work?
It's okay.
I probably, if
okay?
Anyone who ever played with me will know that I have no room to talk about either passing or running straight lines.
We've been checking on you, and the word is not a giver.
Thank you.
Only when absolutely necessary.
10-9, Tonga with the lead, and a line out coming up for Tonga as the captain sits for a few more minutes.
You know, in all honesty, if there's a man who's on the field right now who you want with the ball and a chance in the open field, it's Taku Nguenya. Just an electric runner, has been playing great rugby over in Biarritz in France. He's played for the Barbarians, which is quite an honor for an international player. It's only about probably 6 or 7 Eagles in history to have played for the Barbarians, and there were 2 on the squad in Hong Kong a couple of weeks ago. Samu Manoa and Taku Nguenya on the same field.
They tried to go short on the line out, and Fry smacking it down for the U.S. That's a knock on, and so they'll go to a scrum here. Or maybe not.
Went out? Yes. Okay, I'm very sorry. Sorry.
With Latu out, they opt for a line out again. Their scrum even weaker without their captain. U.S. matches the numbers in the line out.
Up high, Topole with it. And now coming across, Doyle just hammering Topole down.
Oh, great hit there by Biller and Clever.
Pittman in there too, and now stepping up Zvea. He fumbles that forward. The United States coming back the other way.
Push back.
Pete Dahl with it. And the out pass.
Run, that is over. Stay. Stay.
Booted downfield by Tuiangi. Back toward the center of the field.
Right,
And
stop.
Hakalo.
Stop. Stop.
Moon ball coming up. Nguyen almost taking a knee. Spins it right side. Off goes Wiles, and Wiles repelling Iangi in a whistle.
Number 3.
In from the side
Number 3
comes
from the side.
Eric Fry. And that's a whistle.
Number 3.
Boy, Wiles delivered a hit with the ball in his hands. You stand next to Wiles. A couple of years ago,
No play.
first time I met him, he wasn't as big as he is now. He's definitely benefiting from that strength and conditioning program. Watch this. Bam! See ya.
Iangi with that inside shoulder, and when worlds collide.
Well,
Substitution.
like we talked about earlier, just because you're a man up on Tonga doesn't really mean a whole lot unless you can do something with the ball.
Exactly.
Substitution.
A little under 5 minutes to go in the first half, and that's the duration of the sin bin time for the Captain Latu.
Okay. Fair enough.
Looked like Stanfill having word with Pastrana. Something happening in the lineout
Who's coming in?
that he doesn't like.
Come on. Come on, please. Come on. Come on, Red.
Stepping toward the sideline
Who's coming in?
for Tonga and looking for
Come
a
on, who's coming in?
replacement.
Coming in, number 22,
Simon.
Semisone Pone.
Yes, he's coming in. Okay. Come on, come on. 22. Come on. 22,
That is
come on.
the
Yes.
fullback, Viliame
Come
Hakalo,
on.
out. Samasone Pone in.
Please wait. Open the gap. Open the
Great
gap.
story. Semisone Pone played for San Francisco Golden Gate against Tonga a couple weeks ago when they had the 3 people.
Turnover to the U.S. Petrie downfield. Iangi hauling it in, and
Yes. Close inside, yes.
gonna get the yardage on that one. Gonna get the real estate.
Not
no
only
worries.
that, it looks like
Where's the flag?
it's a bad spot by the ref. They're going to back him up another 10.
Out.
Anyway, to
No,
finish
go
that
ahead.
story about Pone, number 22
Yeah,
on the field right now. They just called him in because of all of the suspensions on the Tongan team. Now he goes from a player in San Francisco a few weeks ago to a national team player.
Clever with the tackle there,
Set up.
and
Use it.
Palu spins it
Stay.
back
Number
as
2.
Moa
Stop. Number 2, stop.
coming up and not able to make the grab was Wiles.
That's accidental offsides, I think, on Suniula.
Knock on and upside.
Player knocks the ball on if you're in front of him and you affect play.
And Andrew is there.
Backwards.
Wiles goes back, re-racks, and Patterson with the kick and into touch.
That's my feet.
Just about 2.5 minutes left. There is James Patterson. He, of course, a veteran of the 2011 Rugby World Cup. Super 14 player, and making a start tonight for the U.S. as the U.S. going to take another line out away from Tonga.
Bill,
Good advantage.
that's Pittman with a little hitch step.
Pittman and Fry and Doyle in there fighting for it. Lavala gives it to Stanfill.
Great rumble. You love to see the forwards playing with confidence and shipping the ball around.
And right as you say that, you give a compliment. To the deck it goes. So the scrum for Tonga with about a minute and a half to go in this first half.
Closer, please.
Ilianu
Closer.
Elu
push straight,
See
please.
how the United
Push
States
straight, okay?
handles this one so far. They've looked okay with in the scrum.
Here we go, Fry. Stop, Fry. Sir, can we move to the right?
Okay. Straight. It's straight. No, you're not straight. Your head straight, okay? Come here, come closer. Thank you. Come closer. Thank you. And put your head straight, okay? Yeah, perfect.
Coming, Scotty. Same. Two there. Go, sir.
And the Tongans playing with 7 in the scrum. Now they can bring in a back
Crouch!
to be on the side where Latu was,
Touch!
and instead they're just going with 7 men.
Spun right side from Cajo to Palu.
Push back!
Tonga down a man and trying to get something going here in the final minute. The knock on by Tonga.
He lost control, the ball touched the opposite player, that's a knock-on, okay? He lost control, touched an opposite player, it's a knock-on.
That was okay, right?
Come closer,
Almost time
Closer,
expired
please.
here in
Thank you.
the first half.
let's play
That
this.
of course.
Last gasp for the United States. Man up. Yeah, that's a knock on.
Crouch!
We've reached the 40-minute mark, but that's not necessarily what's on the watch for
Touch!
Francisco Pastrana.
Set!
That one buckles, and we'll see if he does, but the ball comes out. So right side, Iangi comes over to the touch line, and he's got a place to go. Zienguenya making the grab.
Push back!
Trying to turn on the blind side is Piakala,
Push
who
back!
has the lone try in this contest. Topole held up, spun around, brought down. Palu.
Ball went forward out of the hand of Palu.
And that is the first half.
Very physical first half of play here.
So despite being a man down for the last 10 minutes of the first half, Tonga only gives up 3 points, and that was off the penalty to Latu, where Wiles nailed it, his third penalty goal of the game. 10-9, Tonga with the advantage at the intermission in this Pacific Nations Cup showdown. So Moa on the second half kick, and it's taken by Doyle, and forward he goes. The United States down 1.
Great take by Brian Doyle in the air there.
Stop wide, stop!
Lestrange hammers one downfield, hauled in by Iangi, coming back the other way.
Stop, Red! Stop!
And he in turn, as beautiful a kick that went down there, he sends it back. Clever presses it down and out to the 22. For the dropout.
Fakes the quick dropout.
Stay behind, please.
Wiles has all of the United States points on 3 penalty goals. Piakala with a try and Hakala with a 3-pointer. And it's 10-9 Tonga. Taken by the big man, Sakalia. And the big man is taken back by some big men. Short side of the field.
Topole, the old man, takes a rumble.
Latu, who's back after that yellow card in the first half.
Push back!
Stepping forward is Lokatui.
Some of you may be wondering why the number 10 for Tonga is playing scrum half and the number 9 is playing fly half, and it's because of Tanalea. Moa normally plays 9 anyways and just prefers the number, so he's playing fly half but wearing the number 9.
Iangi brought down there, and in turn, Vea now with it. And the prop gets a couple of meters, and down he goes. Eric Fry picks it up. That's intercepted once again, and going to have another try by Pio Kala if he can stay up. Not Johnny on the spot, Siani on the spot, and Pio Kala with his second visit to in goal of the contest.
Really unfortunate there. If you look at Eric Fry does all the right things. A counter ruck by the United States. Fry gets it into his hands after a successful steal by the U.S. Just throws the ball to a supporting player, and Pio Kala's there. Heads up play by Pio Kala.
Well done, and the supporters here in Carson appreciating the effort, as Palu been kind of interesting tonight. You got Moa's been doing some of the kicking, the fullback. Kakalo was doing it earlier, and now
that's off.
Tomasi Palu.
Well, what was more interesting is last week when they were down to 12 players, Latu, their captain, who was wearing the number 6 at the time, ended up lining up at fly half. He was taking kicks at goal.
Once again, Fry picking it up and grabbing it in the air.
Yeah, Fry trying to go to Seamus Kelly there, but Pio Kala's in the way.
So the United States now down 15-9. And on the restart.
Well, they're just a try away. Still very early in this contest.
Moa kicks to the corner. Patterson with the take. Wiles circling outside and rolling forward. Petrie looking blindside was Biller, and then head back inside.
Pete Dahl doing the cleanup. Good to see Pete Dahl out there. He's been in the mix for quite some time, and finally he's worked his way onto the squad.
Deep in the pocket.
Space to run.
Yep. Swatted away.
So Lestrange knocks the ball on. He tried to find that half gap there, tried to reach his arms through the defenders. He was going to flick the ball to Seamus Kelly on the outside, but as he's reaching his hands forward to get that flick pass off, he ends up knocking it forward. It's the risk that you take trying to pass in contact. And here we go, the little dummy tries to sell it, reach through, just can't get the ball off to Pete Dahl there.
Kind of assisted as Lokatui came in on that right side and really pinned that elbow to him.
The third time he goes to the ground. No.
Would have been beautiful had it succeeded.
I know. If he can play, made a substitution.
Toby Lestrange had a try against Russia in his 2012 debut.
Come on.
Teammates of Mike Petrie.
Come closer. Come closer, please. Thank you.
Petrie's a great story. Back from injury, he's a physics and biology teacher at Xavier High School, where Mike Tolkien, the head coach of the U.S., used to be his coach. Said he had to grade papers and hand them back in by this Wednesday. Everybody else is chilling out on the road, and Petrie's grading papers.
Touch! Set!
In it goes. Tonga does a nice job getting it out of there, off the foot and into the corner and into touch.
Looks like the ball just found the infield grass before it skipped out.
So a line out to the USA.
Well-measured kick there by Tomasi Palu. Palu in the Wellington Crusaders development. Check that Wellington Hurricanes development side back in New Zealand.
Up high goes Lavala. The box kick by Petrie. Racing down is Patterson, but racing the other way is Helu. And Helu with a gap and then some. Brought down by Doyle and others. Spun to the center. Taku Ngwenya has it, and Z. It was a self-defense catch. So the United States with a break there. Petry kicks to touch.
Play on. Quickly
brought back in on the line out, and
stop for
Iangi.
Wiles calls the mark. So if you catch the ball behind the 22-meter line, you call mark as you're catching the ball. Referee blows the whistle, and then you get a kick from where that catch was made.
Well struck.
Well, this is what starts it out, a great box kick. Patterson overruns it, though, and he gives space to Helu in the corner. U.S. slow to react to that. Nice piece of work by Viliami Helu.
And then trying to stretch that pass out even further. And Z Ngwenya with the intercept. Right at halfway. Tipole to Taione, and Elvis is banging forward. Tipole squirts it out of there. So the advantage over, and the United States can't find the handle.
Well, once again, the ball in hand, numbers to the outside. Lavala can't handle the pass by Suniula.
And you see Tonga is being brought down as Keho, and then Tipole spills it forward, and the U.S. reciprocates on that one.
It's exactly the kind of transition you want. You get the ball off the knock on.
And watch, it's really dangerous on my.
Okay.
Yeah, before they can really get reorganized, you're going back the other way and putting some heat on them, and then you guys lose the handle.
I was trying to listen to that conversation between the captain of the U.S., Todd Clever, and Francisco Pastrana. They haven't always seen eye to eye in the last couple of weeks, and it looks like maybe their relationship has started to smooth out a little bit.
Don't lose a bite. Can't listen. Closer. 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 Thanks. Stay there. That's better.
Pastrana sets the scrum. Tonga with a 6-point lead with just over 30 minutes to go.
Well, you saw Pastrana getting the scrums closer. And this is a complaint that the front row forwards had last week. Feels like they're getting a little too close.
Gonna re-rack this one.
Scrum goes down. You know what's interesting about Pastrana here is normally what you do if you're the referee is you ask the assistant referee to have a look for you. Not sure if he's using the assistant referees. He's got one to look at one side of the scrum.
Come here, please. Yeah, but faster. I can't go away so much. Come closer. No, that's my foot. Closer.
Again, closer, calls Pastrana. These packs, especially these front row guys, they don't want you messing with their space and their routine.
Touch! Set!
Great scrum by the United States again.
Blind side goes Tonga, and forward is Palu. Tipole presents it from there. Spun out by Helu. Ball called, and Stanfield trying to rip that one loose. Looks like maybe turnover ball, and brought it in, didn't bring it out. The scrum to the U.S.
And once that referee yells out the word maul, once it goes to ground, those players don't have to release it anymore.
Number one white. Number 3.
Calling over Sean Pittman is Francisco
The only
Pastrana.
problem in the scrum is in your size. So I want you to push straight, and please you bind long. Okay? If you are not binding long, he can bind you. Okay? Just push straight and have no more problems. Okay? Thank you.
He's just going to work it out. You push
Yeah, so
straight,
come in.
you make sure you're bound, problem solved.
All we are saying is give peace a chance.
Come on, Red.
So Pittman's job here, according to the referee, is to stay bound.
Closer. Closer. Thanks.
And then Ty Vea's
I'm
see
moving
the
to my right. Okay?
substitution. Cahill out. And Paleafa in.
Hands fall on me. Hands fall on me.
The 24-year-old making his debut for Tonga, Daniel Paleafa, wearing number 20.
Yeah. He falls down. It's okay. Yeah, no.
Now, so last
No
week,
worries.
Bill,
Come.
18 minutes
closer,
and
come closer.
36
No.
seconds of
Okay.
the game
Go to the gap.
against
Okay, Bo. Go to
Ireland
the
was
gap.
spent
Closer.
by Pastrana resetting scrums. The game slows to a creep. This is one of the biggest criticisms of this referee.
Well, it's one of the biggest criticisms of the game in general.
Crouch. Touch. Set.
U.S. seems to have control, does. Clever brings it out. He's ripped down by the other captain, Latu. Lestrange to Foot. Downfield and over the far side. And a chip over. And Iangi was looking to get it. Was he restricted? No.
He's the danger man for Tonga for sure. Great injection of pace.
Fry with it, and that comes loose again. And a whistle, and
No. You rip the
Maybe
ball
need to play
and then
the
it was
whistle.
back on.
So ball knocked on by Tonga will get set for another scrum. Watch the clock, see how much time ticks off here. Hopefully this one gets away straight.
7 and 9. 7 and 9 off. 7
So
and
he's
9
saying that
wide.
the ball was knocked forward by Tonga first.
It was ripped and then you knock it out. I take it.
John Quill comes in,
Come closer.
looks like for Pete
Come on, Wayne, come
Dahl.
on. It's great. Okay.
And Mike Petrie sitting down.
Robbie Shaw going to get some time.
Well, it's a good exchange. Robbie Shaw is a great player as well.
There he is, number 21, Robbie Shaw. The ex-Connacht player, and made his 08 debut against Ireland. And John Quill, he was born in Ireland. 6'2", 225. There's a good look at Robbie Shaw. And with 26 and a half minutes to go in this contest, it's Tonga with a 15-9 advantage.
Okay. That's why you're not putting straight.
I think you just said to Biller, it's because you're not pushing straight. That's why your neck is hurt. Is that what you heard?
I'm over to my right.
Referee and orthopedist.
Crouch. Touch. Both. I'm not going to guess. Okay, be patient.
So
Red
again,
coming,
the
do it.
whistle,
Be patient. Closer. Closer.
52 and some change when we started. 2.5 minutes later, we're still in the same spot. It's really something that IRB really needs to address. This is doesn't just happen here on this field. It's happening all around the world, in Europe in particular. So much time being spent in this game on the reset of scrums.
And Latu
That's forward.
ripping it away, and the U.S. gets it back, and a whistle. A knock on, and we get to face another scrum. Little after action. You saw the U.S. initially okay, and then given some ground and trying to take it out of there was Clever and swiped away by Nili Latu. Quick hand.
Latu just grabs it away from Clever.
Come and move the hole.
I think he's a little fresher. Got that yellow card, got a 10-minute sit down in the first.
Well, not like 10 minutes, then you add another 12 for halftime. The dude's been resting for 22 minutes. No wonder he's so good.
He is very good, is Nili Latu.
Bind, please. Crouch.
Trying to go 3-0 in his career against the United States.
Touch. Set.
Let me give you my 2 cents and my difficulty. If you're gonna blow it up, then ping somebody.
Not you. So far we have so very good scrums. So keep it moving. Okay? Keep having the same scrums. Closer.
All right, coming up on the midway point of the second half, and the game has slowed considerably. Still 15-9. It was 10-9 at the half before Piokawa, just 3 or 4 minutes into the second half, scored his second try.
Well, the U.S. with the ascendancy there in the scrum, and
pushing not straight.
Tonga called for not pushing straight. At that point, I think the referee was going to raise his hand no matter what happened there. He had to do something different than reset another scrum.
Take a look at pack on pack. Coming into this contest, Tonga held just a 2-pound advantage. 245 to 243 was the average weight in the pack. Tipole is not believing at this point.
In the last 20 minutes of a game, is you end up being so much more prone to the knock-on anyways.
Biller tosses high, swatted, taken by Stanfill, off the foot of Lestrange, and into touch. Trying to catch Patterson, heading up the line. Coyote still in there. He's been there from the start at the hooker spot.
Open the gap.
Made his debut against Italy last year in the fall. And contested by the U.S. and retained by Tonga. Latu brought down. Faleafa with it.
He's held up. It's a maul. U.S. has a chance to get this one back. And they will.
But Brian, does that mean a scrum?
Biting my tongue.
We're going to be closer, okay?
Hopefully it just means
good,
one
so we're going
scrum.
to be closer. Same to you. That scrums were not good. We're going to be closer. Thank you. Closer. Come closer. 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 Don't move. Yeah, perfect.
22 minutes to go. And the U.S. setting up with a chance at the Tonga 10-meter line.
Higher both, higher.
Got some fresh legs in there. See if they can get through this one and fire it outside.
Higher, please.
Next up for the U.S., the 17th of June in Japan against Fiji, and then on the 23rd, taking on the host, Japanese. For Tonga, they get some time off until that last week of the Pacific Nations Cup when they will get Fiji in Tokyo.
Touch. Set.
So Tonga works a penalty out of the situation there.
Although there's no indication.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Straight down.
Eric Fry. And a line out here on the near side.
Number 3. Substitutions.
And so Fry comes out, and Nick Wallace coming in, making his debut for the U.S. The St.
Open it
Mary's
up.
product from Bellingham, Washington, wearing number 17 there. Taione to Topole. And Tonga with the captain Latu, and the maul call, and being held up in there, doing a nice job.
Stanfield just
Quill
rips it off of him.
Yeah, Quill was in there too. Falling down was Kelly, and Tonga comes up with it as Samasoni Pone with it. Topole brought down. Tonga presents, and Latu.
Advantage is over.
Blind side to Topole again. Topole and Latu, the combination. Playing on the US 22 is Afu.
Step up.
Topole picking his spot. Down to one knee, trying to be held up by the US, and there's the big man Sakalia. Bowling forward.
Advantage. Offside number 10.
Advantage to Tonga. Really the first action we've had in quite a few minutes, and Moa gets it down about 7 meters out.
Still advantage.
To the ground it goes. Anderson keeps it alive. Bringing it out of the ruck is Helu. Getting closer, and a whistle, and
Number 10.
Long advantage being played by Pastrana. It's going to go back to where the infraction occurred.
Go back. No. You got people inside.
a very long advantage at that, and
Number 10 offside. Captain, your decision.
your decision. He points to the post, so with a chance to increase a 15-9 lead, Tonga, the T comes out.
6.
Looks like a substitution being called for Sakalia.
Yeah, keep on the game. Come on. Yeah.
Also getting ready to come in, Zach Panolio.
Captain, come on, let's go. 3. Substitution.
Latu gets it to go.
What number?
And the captain, Nili Latu, giving Tonga an 18-9 lead with that penalty goal. I think we've seen 4 different kickers for Tonga tonight.
It was only a matter of time before Latu teed one up. Didn't want to be left out of the party.
On the restart, there is Latu, skipped out of his hands, and advantage to the United States. Being wrestled down, Panolio.
You see?
Spun outside, Stanfill, flat-footed.
Run!
Robbie Shaw trying to get something going here. As
You see it? Advantage is over.
Doyle forward and tandem with
Come back.
Stanfill and Lavala. Wiles stepping up. with Clever and Patterson on him. And then Shaw to Quill.
Push back, push back.
John gets it to the deck, and they come back the other way. Doyle. And the whistle. And Guenya comes up, taps, and then knocks on. So.
Yes, but you must play off it.
Well, it needs to be more clinical. U.S. needs to clean this up, and I like that Z is trying to do something enterprising there. In the last few phases,
Be patient, okay?
we've seen Tonga able to slow the game
Sir,
down,
please, come on, go out.
slow down the rucks.
He can't
The
be
U.S.
inside
is
every
trying to
time.
get quick ball. That's their aim
Come on.
is to try to get less people into the rucks,
Closer, closer,
more
please, thank
quick
you.
ball out of them, and yet it seems to be slowing down a little bit for them.
So now the U.S. front row of Wallace, Fenolio, and Pittman.
Crouch. Touch. Set.
And Tonga off the foot of Moa. And Guenya back, wheels around and starts heading back upfield. Z brought down. The United States, with the clock running down by 9 with 14 minutes to go.
Shaw tries to do it himself. Really nothing there.
Push back. Push back.
Muscling forward the U.S. and in from the side, and
22 from the side.
the penalty awarded to the U.S.
Wiles will try to crank this one down deep in the Tongan half. Great
Yeah.
kick.
Nicely done and inside the 22.
Well, this is go time right here for the U.S. They really need to
Stop,
score. They
stop.
can't come away without any
Everything.
points
Let's go
inside
out.
the 22.
Go out.
There's only about
We have a
13
relaxed
minutes left
substitution.
in this game. Maybe a little bit of stoppage time.
Go out. Substitution.
Lestrange
Black,
comes
number
out.
20.
Adam Sedal in.
Yes, I will.
Wearing number 22 is Adam. 3 of his 4 penalty goals he nailed in his Canada debut.
This way.
Fenolio getting set for the
Who's
line
coming
out.
in?
Another
Also
substitution.
checking in, yeah,
Okay.
is Kawenga. Emosi.
Come on, please. Go, please. Red.
Been with
Come
him
on,
for a
White.
while at 6'7"
Come on,
and
White.
275, the 32-year-old.
Time is on. Time is
Made
on.
his debut against Samoa in 02. Also a veteran of the 07 World Cup. Might see him airborne here. Over Clever, taken by Tonga, coming back the other way. Suniula trying to make a grab there, not going, and a turnover, a killer for the U.S.
Fenolio struggled a little bit in his game against Canada in the throws.
22, not running. Not running.
Not rolling away.
Tough task to come in cold off the bench and nail that first throw, but it's crucial time, and that's when the U.S. needed it the most.
Tony Alamoa stepping up. Moa with time for the Blues and the Chiefs, and was on Tonga's 2011 World Cup squad and
Sure.
sends one into touch.
To red and
So a change at the hooker position as Taioni comes out.
number 3.
Ileasa Maasi
3.
wearing number 16 in.
Gap.
Just over 10 to go. Well, last week against Ireland, we talked about how there needed to be some individual moments of brilliance, some moments that could be conjured in times that were needed, and this is one of those times again.
Retained by Tonga in the air. And there is Maasi. Topole brought down by Doyle. Latu cuts back and runs into Pittman. That one squirts free and retained by Tonga.
Push back, push back.
U.S. needs a little lightning here, and 10 minutes to go.
So Suniola's got him stood up. Siddall with him. It's going to be a scrum.
Yes, he's going now. Thank you.
Up close look at John Quill for the U.S.
Gentlemen.
This one started out with the U.S. scoring. Wiles on a penalty goal just 3 or 4 minutes into the game.
Come on, please.
And Akalo
Closer,
hit
closer.
himself a three-pointer to even it up. The big difference has been a couple of tries by Pio Kala. One in the first half with 25 minutes to go, and then early here in the second half.
Crouch.
Kauhenga wearing 19.
Touch.
We saw him come in for
Set.
Afu.
Use it. Yes.
You're letting him off.
Be steady, please. Steady. Be steady. As soon as engage, use it. As soon as engage, use it.
Well,
Closer.
I don't agree with the call. You're not supposed to push early, and so
Closer.
the Tongans are clearly
Don't
pushing,
want you to head to head. Don't want you to head to
which
head.
is why the U.S. is going backwards. Robbie Shaw is saying this should be a penalty. He doesn't get it. There's nothing that says the scrum half has to immediately feed the scrum.
Touch. Set.
Took a bad bounce before the strike by the U.S. to get it out of there, and they do.
Great job by Clever cleaning it up.
Siddall. Not releasing the call, so
Holding on.
they point to the
Take a
post, bringing out the tee. The captain wants to take another swing at it. Nili Latu. Seven and a half minutes to go, and based on the reaction of the crowd, which is pretty good support for the Tonga squad. Pulling for the 31-year-old Latu to get it done. Off the mark, so still time, 7 minutes remaining.
U.S. has struggled tonight. Handling errors, just lapses in concentration and an inability.
Moa
to
dumps it to
execute.
the corner and not handled well by the United States.
Well, they haven't been able to execute their game
The
plan.
red player touch the ball.
Shaw with the boomer, picked up by Palu. Nicely flung in the air, and Maasi on the gain.
Number 8, offside.
Referees playing a long advantage, says Todd Clever was offsides.
Still about 4.5 to go, with Tonga holding a 18-9 lead.
Number 9, come on.
But less than a week later, the United States looks like it's taken a step backwards.
They just don't look like they're playing with a great amount of passion right now. It's tough, you know. It's tough to play 80 minutes straight, flat out. It's not for lack of trying. There's just something. The chemistry tonight just doesn't seem to be there.
Tonga weathered a couple storms, able to be down a man for the last 10 minutes of the first half and not really be hurt by that. And they have crossed the goal line twice. And looking for yet another. Turnover comes to Doyle.
That's Latu offsides again.
6. Off it, number 6.
Wiles boots it quickly.
That does not make touch. And so that one does. And so the line out will be right around halfway for the United States.
On the line, please.
Fenolio going to have a throw again.
Zach comes in to grab that one out of the air. Lavala handled by Kamapuafisi, number 18. Off goes John Quill. Grabbing at Shaw. In turn, Ngwenya into touch.
It's a heads-up move, trying to pepper that short side. Kind of ran out of space, though, for Z. He doesn't need a whole lot of space, but he needs more than a foot. And he just didn't get it there.
Just a minute and a half to go. Topole, fresh bounce. Grabs it up high, and the maul's on.
Use it once.
Off the foot. Fahua.
He's apologizing to his teammates for that kick. Precious moments ticking away.
Shaw tries to play it on a bounce, not happening. Tonga comes up with it.
Well, the rhythm just isn't there tonight for the United States.
Kalenga. Latu. Shifting inside to Piakala. Can he go for the hat trick? Knocked on by Iongi. So the U.S. Ngwenya can't come up with that one. Circling back inside. Couple of moves by Hello. Topole. with the flick. And the big man, Kauenga, right by the touchline.
All that's left on the clock is whatever Pastrana has on his wrist.
I don't think he's going to wait very long for this one.
Well, the U.S. needs to regroup. They're going to fly to Japan tomorrow.
At halfway, and we've reached 80 minutes. Doyle to Stanfill. And the U.S. goes to Japan and has 2 more games in the Pacific Nations. Taking on Fiji on the 17th and then Japan on the 23rd. Lavala brought down. Wiles and Pittman and Nguyen.
Just no room for Nguyen to run tonight.
Tonga wants to get a hold of that one and put an end to it. The knock on, and that's it. So Tonga came into this match ranked 12th in the world, the United States 17th. Tonga coming in off a tough loss to Canada. The U.S. a tough loss to Ireland, and give Tonga credit. Weathered a couple of storms in the first half, came out, did what they had to do in the second, got a break with Piakala, but 18-9 the final.